Okay, so this is it. That's us starting recording. So the first question we had from the homework was write y equal x squared plus 2x plus 5 in completed square form. So in order to do that, what we look at is the factor 2 here. We took half of that number and we put x plus 1 square. And then because we had a 1 at the end, we needed to compensate it. So that would mean we would get x plus 1. Let me put a pen. So for this one, it would mean x plus 1 squared plus 5 minus 1, because we've got to compensate, and that would just be plus 4. Okay, so you just need to remember to compensate. So the second one here, on 3a, I had x squared minus 4x plus 7. So again, a half negative 4, which gives me negative 2. So you get x minus 2 square. And then because minus 2 times minus 2 gives you plus 4, you need to compensate on that plus 4. You end up with plus 7 minus 4, which is just a, so plus 7 minus 4 should give you.
Can I ask a question? Sorry, Adrian. See,
Yeah.
what I was having a clue was the middle number, is that the coefficient? I think the middle number, if it's a minus something, that means it's a, would that mean it's a minus on the other side when you're
even if it's a plus, because whenever, when you time two pluses, you get a plus. So you've got to compensate, it becomes a minus. So even if it's a minus, because minus times minus will be plus, then you need to compensate with a negative. So you're always going to compensate with minus something.
Okay, so, okay, I wasn't sure. That was what I was having difficulty sometimes, having kind of moving that over and not sure whether it's plus or minus.
So you'll see it, we had a plus from the first example.
Yeah.
The second one, we've got a minus, and it's always a minus. And all of them come in, we'll show them. So your end result here would be x minus 2 square plus 3. Because 7 minus 4 is just positive 3. On the next one, I've got x plus 10, because we've halved the 20 square. And this time we need to compensate with minus 100. So 90 minus 100 is just minus 10. Okay. So basically to complete the square, you just have
plus 80.
this coefficient. Yeah. So basically you are plus 90 minus 100 gives you minus 10. Okay. On the next one, we're looking at x, this time minus 4, because it's half of negative 8 square. And because we need to compensate with negative 4 times negative 4, which is a 16, so minus 16. So minus 16 minus 5 should give us, sorry, let me check this. So because we've got a 16, we need to compensate with minus 16. So minus 16 minus 5 should give me minus 21, if we've done it correctly. So we can quickly check that. X squared minus 4x minus 4x, so minus 8x, plus 16. You compensate the plus 16, which become a minus 16. Minus 16 minus 5 becomes minus 21. Okay. And the next one, this time I've got an x squared plus 14x. So we're going to decide to half the 14, which give me x plus 7 square. But because we add 49, we need to take away the 49. 7 square being 49. And that would mean x plus 7 square minus 49.
I did plus again.
Yeah, so you need to, you basically you need to take it away.
Mhm.
The 16 here, we need to take it away. The 100 here, we need to take away. And here we had a 16, we needed to take away. Or here we had a take away 4. And then take away 1. So it's always taken away.
Always taking it, right? Okay.
Yeah. When you
Always taking
compensate.
away this compensating. Yeah.
Yeah.
Always take it. Right, that's fine. I'll not forget it now.
Okay. And this one is quite easy because straight away you compensate, but it's coming back to compensate on a 0. So you imagine here you had plus 0.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was when we looked at completing the square. The second one we had was to solve equations by completing the square first. And we were told to leave the answer in third form. So again, very similar to what we've done, but this time, as the example show here, we've got to solve the equation to find the value for x or for y on a, t, then x. So for the first one, y squared plus 2y minus 7, that becomes y plus 1 because you have the 2 square. So open bracket y plus 1 square. We need to compensate with a minus 1, and that becomes minus 7 minus 1, it's minus 8. Yeah. And this time we're just going to do what we did last time. We're going to put y plus 1 square on the left. And in order to solve this equation, I've got to take away 8. So what's the opposite of taking away?
Add.
So we're going to add 8 on both sides. And once you add your 8 on both sides, you should get something in the form of y plus 1 square equal 8. Okay, and then remember what we did here. Then we put y plus 1 equal root 8, just the same way we did with root 21. And we take away the 1 on each side, then we get minus 1 plus root 8. The root 8 is root 4 times 2, which is 2 root 2. For the first. Okay. And remember we said we had 2 answers, one root 21 and the second one negative root 21. Same here, we would get plus root 8 and minus root 8. So the second answer would be, in our case here, minus 1 minus 2 root 2. So when you're asked to leave the answer in third form, they expect you as well to simplify it. So instead of leaving it as root 8 is root 2 times 4 and it's 2 root 2. Okay. It's a bit like what we did with C and G. If you remember well, the 2 examples were given to you there. So the next one we've got is t squared minus 6t minus 11. So half of 6 is 3 with a negative. So t minus 3 square. But because we've minus 3, we need to compensate with a negative 9. So negative 9, negative 11, that would give us negative 20. And same thing again, t minus 3 square equal 20. And then t minus 3 is plus and minus root 20. And once you do that, because 20 is 4 times 5, you get the root 4 first, which is 2, root 5, and 3. And the other one should be 3 minus 2 root 5. Okay. So just be careful whenever you see t minus 3 on that side. When the -3 get eliminated, you do the opposite of taking away 3 is to add 3, and that's why we've got them positive on this side. C we did together. The answer was 5 plus root 21, 5 minus root 21. For D, I've got 4a. So what's half of 4?
2.
2. So that'd be a plus 2 square. And then I need to compensate with minus 4. So 1 minus 4 is minus 3. And that's when you get your answer for D. A plus 2 square minus 3.
Changing the sign is just, it's killing me here. Yeah.
So yeah, the compensation, as you notice, is always taken away.
Subtract.
Yeah. So if you do quite a few.
Yeah, no, it's just not subtracting that's the side when you're complementing it.
Yeah.
It's just caused my answers to go a bit all over the joint.
Okay.
But no, I'll get there. I'll get there.
Practice.
Yeah.
And then for our 2 answers to solve this, we should be getting something with root 3. So the -3, you add 3 on each side. So -2 plus root 3 and -2 minus root 3. Those are the 2 answers for D. Okay, so the working is there for C and G. I'm just firing up here the answers because we don't have the space here, but you should be able to work your way back. So for E, this time we've got y squared plus 8y. So half of 8 is 4. So the first thing is y plus 4 square within the brackets. And then I need to take away to
16.
compensate 16, yeah. So 13 minus 16,
3.
because it's
No.
13 minus 16.
Oh,
so which of the two? So the question you should ask yourself now is, I've got 2 numbers. Which of the 2 numbers is bigger? And the sign is going to follow the bigger of the 2 numbers. So if you've got, yeah, so because you've got a 16 that's got a negative, it's going to be a minus, and then you do the difference between the 2. So if you think like that, maybe you will get it eventually.
I do use that tactic. It's just I know how to half the coefficient, and then it's just obviously you then have to kind of complement the other side, and it's the sign. It's just I can't, when you're plus and the plus, it's a plus a negative, and you're multiplying as a plus, 2 negatives. I'm just thinking like that, and that's what's probably caused me the headache. But that if I get it right now, then I'll save my headache further down the line.
Okay. And for the answers, we've got the 3 on the other side because becomes a positive because we add 3 on each side, and then you've got your -4 plus root 3, -4 minus root 3. Very much the same as what we did with D. Question D and E are quite similar. Okay. Then E, F, we're dealing with T this time. But because we've got -3, this time, remember when we've got a number which is not even, so we're going to use fractions. Yeah?
Yeah.
Because you're going to halve the 3. So the working would show you that if you got t minus 3/2 square, then you need to compensate by taking away minus 9/4, or 3 divided by 2 square, which is minus 9/4. The minus 6 becomes minus 24/4. So minus 24 minus 9 is minus 33. And that's how we get our 33 here.
I struggled with that one.
So yeah, you need to set it. Basically, you will need to write it down that you've got 9/4 that you came up with to compensate with, minus 9/4 minus 6. But minus 6 is a bit like 6 over 1.
Mm-hmm.
So you can do that thing you call kiss and smile or cross and
Yeah.
smile. Minus 9 minus 6 times 4 over 4. So minus 9 minus 24, that's your minus 20 minus 33 over 4, basically. That's how you do it.
Yeah.
Again, this is practicing with fractions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the answers for these would be 3 plus root 33. This time it's going to be divided by 2 because you've got the 3 over 2. And then if you root square root 33 divided by square root of 4, square root of 4 is just 2. That's why you've got the 2. That is the common for both the two fractions. And the next answer is 3 minus root 33 divided by 2. Okay. So yeah, this one was probably a bit harder because it deals with fractions. There was one that we did with fractions with the previous homework. So, but we're going to have to really get used to manipulating fractions. Okay. So, and the last one in set here is x squared plus 6x plus 3. So we're going to divide 6 by 2, which gives us 3, x plus 3 squared. And because we've got 3 squared that we need to compensate, it's minus 9. So 3 minus 9, again, it's a negative, minus 6. Yeah.
Switch up, positive.
So 3 minus 9 is minus 6.
I got that right.
Whereas 9 minus 3 is 6, positive 6. Okay. And for our answers, we've got a root 6. So minus 3 plus and minus root 6. So either minus 3 plus root 6 and minus 3 minus root 6. These are the two answers for this equation here. So this equation, we started with x squared plus 6x plus 3, and we've managed to find what they call the roots of this equation, this quadratic equation. Okay. So next on the list, we had solve again by completing, but this time we were asked to round. So in this scenario here, you will need to use your calculator. So whenever you see round the answer to 1 decimal place, they expect you to, most of the time be having to use the calculator. So we did one example, t minus 2 squared plus 1 minus 4, which was t minus 2 square minus 3. Then we went to the 3 here, 2 plus and minus root 3. The two answers we had was 3.73 rounded to 1 decimal with 3.7 and 0.26 rounded to 1 decimal, sorry, was 0.3, 1 decimal place.
3, sorry.
Yeah, so you just look at the second one, and that's the one that will decide if you keep it 3.7, which is what they call round down, or you round it up to 0.3. So let's have a look at some of the other ones. So the first one is here, m plus 4 square minus 13, because I've got minus 16 plus 3. And my answer should be minus 4 plus root 13. And if you take your calculator, minus 4 plus root 13, you should see negative 0.394. And that you round it to 1 decimal, it becomes negative 0.4. The next one is minus 4 minus root 13. Again, with your calculator, you should get a value of negative 7.605, which rounded to 1 decimal is just minus 7.6. So that was the first one. The second one, we're asked to deal with x squared. 12, I'm going to halve that. you get 6 because it's negative, so it becomes x minus 6 square. Then the 6 square is 36, so to compensate it, you bring the minus 36. So 4 minus 36 is again a negative number, and it becomes 32. Okay. And once we've got these, we get x equals 6 plus root 32, which is 11.656 or 11.7, and 6 minus root 32 0.34, which is just 0.3 to 1 decimal place. Okay, so that was B. For C, this time, because we've got an odd number, we're going to have to deal with fractions. So I don't know how you managed to cope with the fraction there, but it's W minus 5 over 2 square. So then I've got to compensate with a minus 25 over 4, because if you squared 5 over 2, it becomes minus 25 over 4. But you need to put negative 10 to it, minus 10. Or like we said, you can just rewrite it as a ratio, 10 over 1, and do your kiss and smile or cross and smile. Minus 25 minus 40 divided by 4 times 1, which is minus 95. No, minus 65 divided by 4. Yeah?
Yep.
So cross and smile, if that's the method that you want to use. So let's see. W minus 5.5 square minus 65 over 4. Then the 65 over 4, we add plus 65 over 4 on both sides. And the answer would become 5 over 2, which is plus root 65 over 2. So you just use your calculator to type 5 divided by 2 plus root 65. So 5 over 2 plus root 65 divided by 2. So basically it's root 65 divided by 4, but because it's root 4 at the bottom, we just change it to 2, which is easier. 6.53 rounds to 6.5, and the negative part will round to minus 1.53, which is just minus.
I really struggled with that.
With
that. Yeah, just using fractions in that setting. Yeah, really.
So did you get negative 65 over 4 though? So that's
no,
a plus.
No. I mean, I got close to the brackets with the W minus 5 over 2, but then I didn't really know where to go after that.
So once you square it, it's just to you need to compensate, and to compensate, you just need to take away 5 over 2 square. And 5 over 2 square is just 5 square divided by 2 square, which is 25. So basically what you need to do is minus 5 over 2 square. But when you square a fraction, remember when we did that, you need to square both the numerator and the denominator, and that is just minus 25 over 4. So that was.
And then you deal with the other side then as well.
Yeah, and you've got a minus 10 to that. Then you do your
smile and kiss.
Cross, yeah, smile and kiss that way, or cross and smile, kiss and smile, and you get your negative 65 over 4 that you bring on the other side. So I think there's one in that list as well that is a bit like that. So it's the F. So for E, it's quite straightforward because we've got 7. So plus 7 square. We need to compensate with minus 49. So 13 minus 49 is negative 36. Yeah?
Yep.
So you add 36 on each side, and you get minus 7 plus root 36. But root 36 is just 6. Yeah?
6
times. And
Plus
then
6.
minus 7 plus 6 is just minus 1. Okay? Yeah, root 36. But if you type it in your calculator, in case you can't even remember the root, you've got your calculator doing the test, then you get negative 1. It tells you there. But because they've said round to 1 decimal place, I just put there 0.0 to the 1 decimal place. Okay? And then the other one is negative 7 minus 6, which is just minus 13. And just being extra zealous, again, you just put to 1 decimal place. Negative 13 is just negative 13.0. But I don't think you will get mark taken away if you forget to put the 0.0. Okay. And the last in that list was x squared plus 3x. So again, you're going to have to use fractions. So x plus 3 over 2 square. So that's 1 mark. 1 mark for that.
Yep.
And then the next one.
Yes, 7. 2 is 6. 2 is 4. 6 over 4.
So have a go, try it.
6 over 4.
So let's see, that should be x plus 3 over 2 square. Because we need to compensate with minus 9 over 4, so you need to do minus 9 over 4 minus 36 over 1.
36.
So let's try this. Minus 9 over 4 minus 36. So that's, I think, I didn't get that. Yeah, so it's minus 9
over 4
minus
36.
4 times 36, which is minus 153 divided by 4. So this is minus 153. If we do 9 over 4 minus 36. Why is it minus 36? No, sorry. Why did I say minus 36? It's minus 7.
Minus 7, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
So
I was getting mixed up with the E underneath.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's minus 7. Yeah. So it's minus 28 plus 9. Yeah. Minus 28 minus 9.
Yes.
And that is your minus 37, yeah. Yeah, I got mixed up with another one just there.
Minus 7, so -7. That sense -7 minus 9 over 4. It's horrendous.
Yeah.
It's
So
absolutely
it's easy.
horrendous.
Okay. So once you've got that, negative 37 over 4, it
Yep.
goes on the other side, plus 37 over 4, and you've got your negative 3 over 2 plus root 37 and minus root 37 divided by 2. And the final answer should be, once you round it, 1.5, and the other one, negative 4.5.
In terms of getting to 37, sorry, and the interruption, how did you jump to that again? Did you just use -9 over 4 minus 7, and
Yeah.
you just did a
So,
wee, right, okay, so
yeah.
7 times 4, add the -9. No.
Correct. So basically you go
Ah,
minus 9 over 4, like that,
Mhm.
minus 7 over 1, just to make
Yes,
it
yeah.
2 fractions.
Just doing
And
it
that
fractions,
is
yeah.
negative 9 minus 28
Mhm.
over 4 times 1, which is 4, which is your 37.
Right, okay.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, no,
yeah.
I don't know why I got confused, because I was looking at 36. I just mixed the 36 to the 7. But yeah, this is the final answer, and it's X. Okay.
Right. Let's see what
So let's see. I think there was yeah, that was it for that set of completing the square. So yeah, there's a bit of gymnastic to do. Okay, so I'm gonna pause just now the recording.
just that's you.
The last hour.
Confident.
And coffee. That's it. It's a wee surprise. Just that's it. Actually, that's
I
it
love a
tonight.
surprise.
Surprise test. No, I'm not that
He
mean.
just left his bank details up in the corner of the screen. Just if anybody wants to. SQ don't need to know anything. Nah, it's a tough one. I don't know. It's I was thinking that when I was doing my exams. Like, imagine that actually happened. Like, there's so many exams that I did so well on the day. My prelims were horrendous sometimes, and managed to get through my hires on the day. But having some teachers fight your corner, or some teachers that you didn't do so well for, or thought you were going to do poorly, you would have been in a different position, completely different outcome. It's quite scary.
At least you've got a whole year to see it coming. Whereas
Yeah, I know.
before it was, if you had a bad day and you come
Yeah.
and sit a bad exam, and you know yourself, if your prelims were not that brilliant either, and then you go, I've got nothing to balance on.
True.
Whereas at least here you can see it, and you know what you need to do to improve and stuff like that. But we'll see how it goes. So the first, I better record. It's the bit that I keep forgetting.
It is recording itself.
Yeah, resume recording. So yeah, if you got 5a squared divided by a, remember we said a squared was just a times a. We used to just write it like that, 5 times a. So usually this is what I do when I've got my paper. I use my pen and I go, what can I simplify? I've got a at the top, a at the bottom, a divided by a is just 1. Yeah, so that's usually what happens. You just go, that divided by that is 1. I don't write the 1 because I don't really need it here. But 5a divided by 1 is just 5a. So the final answer should be 5a. Yeah?
Yep.
Easy enough. The next one, I've got 8c squared divided by 2c squared. So c times c and c times c, just to break it down, but didn't need it really. Again, c divided by c, 1. C divided by c, again, 1. Now I'm left with 8 divided by 2. And 8 divided by 2 is just, so how many 2's goes into 8? 4.
4.
That's it.
These are nice. These are alright. I don't mind these ones.
Yeah, put these in the next test.
Just put them in the exam. Those first 8. The rest of them are
They're quite
horrific.
easy.
But, like,
Yeah, I think, yeah, they put these and then they start mixing and then timing 2 of them and then adding. So between adding fractions and multiplying fraction, we need to get a technique. So usually that's what I say to folks, when it's add and take away, they use the kiss and smile.
Mhm.
And then whenever it's multiply, you just multiply numerators and multiply denominators. So as long as you can try to remember that, we'll get through the big ones. So 2x divided by 4y, the common mistake people see 2 divided by 4 is they say it's 2. It's very common. I see that happening and happening over and over. Whenever you've got a number smaller as a numerator than the denominator, it can't be bigger than 1. It's got to be less than 1. So the only way it's going to be less than 1 if it's 1 divided by 2 or a half. Okay, so the 2 divided by 4 becomes a half, and x divided by y just stay x divided by y.
Yeah.
But again, because it's 1x, it becomes a silent 1. But you'll be surprised, even at higher, how many students puts the 2 at the top. Because they just see 2 divided by 4, oh, that's 2. Okay, so it's a common mistake. Here we've got 6 divided by 3. Again, this time we've got 6 at the top, 3 at the bottom, so it's got to be bigger than 1, so it's going to be 2 this time. And e divided by e is just 1. 2 times 1 is just 2.
Yeah.
So I've noticed they did that quite a few times, so that if you keep doing it, eventually they expect you to get the 2 at the wrong place. But again, just get your technique right. 7 divided, that's probably why they've done it, to be honest. Because I can see here a 2 divided by 4, a 6 divided by 3, a 7 divided by 14, and there's always a 2 in there, but it's to place the 2 in the right position.
Yeah.
Okay, so now again, it's a half. I've got a y and a y cancel each other, and an x. So half of x is just x divided by 2, but you can write it as half of x.
They wouldn't penalise you if you wrote 1x, would they? They wouldn't absolutely. You know, I've got a habit of doing that sometimes.
The 1x, yeah, let me think.
Or is that
so
that 1x is a whole number?
Yeah, 1x, if you do 1x like this, they expect you to know that 1x is just x.
Yeah.
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 But if you write it as half x like this, it's okay.
Okay.
So writing as a fraction time x is okay. Writing 1x like this, you won't get the mark, I'm afraid.
Okay.
Or this is just, or you can just write it as x divided by 2 as well. So it's all these are correct.
Just get rid of that wee tick that I had there. That's.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
no, I understand, because you're essentially saying the one's like a whole number.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah.
So you can't. Yeah.
So for the next, I think the next one we did it together. We cancel a, then we had divide by 3 the top and divide by 3 the bottom, because 9 and 12 goes both into the 3 time table. Then we had b times b and a b at the bottom, and we ended up with just 3/4 of b, or 3b divided by 4. Same thing. Okay. So I think now we need to start getting used to writing fractions as 3b divided by 4 rather than 3/4 of b, because we're going to manipulate bigger fractions, and they do have a bigger number there. So the next one is 5 divided by 15. So you can divide by 5 the top and the bottom. That becomes a third. I've got x and x squared, then x at the top disappear, and the x squared become an x. Y squared at the top and y at the bottom disappear, and you end up with a y at the top. Or if you want to expand it to make it easier for you, you can just go that cancel with that, and that cancel with that, and that now it's a bit clearer. Y divided by 3x should be my final answer. Okay. And the last one in that series, they're a bit more complicated, but I think let's try and walk our way through it. The first one I've got 3p brackets, so open brackets, close brackets. So the square applies to both term here. So it's a bit like 9. So 3p times 3p, which is a 9 if you wish. And that becomes just 1 of the 3 over 6 becomes a half, and the p disappear because we cancel it. So you end up with 3p over 2. The next one, this exercise told us, if you remember, factorize first, if you can. So we've learned how to factorize. We've got 7y plus 3y square. We can get y outside the bracket. So that's easier to do. So if you get y outside the brackets, you get y open brackets 7 plus 3y, because then you get your 7y plus 3y square. And now I've got this quantity time this whole quantity. It's only when they time each other that I can simplify. Then you can just go this, simplify with this y there. And that's your answer
The
there.
one above that, why is it only 3p? Why is it not, where's your other 3 going?
So 3 divided by 6 is a half.
It's a half?
Yeah, so basically you divide the 3 by 3 here and the 6 by 3. So 3 divided by 3 is 1, and 6 divided by 3 is 2.
Right, but you've got another 3 at the front there.
Or you can use this one if you want. It's up to you. So
right,
this
right, and then that's 1 by right 1 times 3, and that's 3. Right. Okay.
So this p cancel this p.
Yeah, cancel each other out. I got the p, and I got where the 6 was coming into a 2, but I didn't understand.
Yeah. So the
my head's not going quite yet.
3 over 6 is just a half.
Yeah. Okay.
The same we had earlier on. 2 over 4, 2 quarters is just a half. Same thing.
Right.
So here we've used the factorization method to be able to eliminate the y. So sometime have a look whenever you're going to get like fractions like this. Try and always to factorize first in order to be able to eliminate what's at the bottom, because you can only start simplifying when you've got terms that are multiplying each other here. And a bracket here is one term. Another term is this term. So they need to be the whole term before you can simplifying it.
Right, okay.
So we'll see bigger ones coming after that. Here I've got an 8a plus 2, and I've got a 2a. So 8 and 2 both goes in the 2 time table. And because they both goes in the 2 time table,
four times 2, a.
Yeah.
4 plus.
So we're going to factorize with the 2.
The 2.
2 times 4a plus 1 divided by 2a.
Get rid of the 2.
And then you can get rid of the 2 by simplifying those two 2's. And that's you. Can't simplify any further because 4a plus 1 is one entity, and a it's on its own. So I've seen the common mistake, people saying, oh, I've got 4a, I can just simplify 4a with a. But it doesn't work like that because you've got a plus 1 here. Remember, it's everything in that bracket that needs to be the same at the bottom. You can only simplify if the top and the bottom are the same. If they're not, if you don't have them multiplying, because so that's a very common mistake that we see. So you need to work on that. The next one I can factorize using x this time. So x comes out, open bracket, 2 plus 3x, and at the bottom just 3x. So I've seen folks trying to cancel those 3x. You can't, because this is 2 plus 3x. Yeah, the only thing we can cancel is x here, because x time and x, yeah. So those two go, and that's us. So I know it looks a bit strange to start with, but it's to do with an add or the takeaway. Just think about it. If you had x equal 1 here, you'll get 2 plus 3 is 5. So 5 can't be cancelling a 1 at the bottom. So the final answer on this one would be 2 plus 3x divided by 3. Next, I've got m for my common factor here, because I've got 7m minus m squared. So I'm going to multiply so this time it's the denominator that we're going to factorize, because 5m just stays as a 5m. So the denominator, we can just rewrite it as m times 7 minus m.
5 over 7 minus m.
So there you go. You can now simplify m, and then you get 5 over 7 of m, 7 minus m. That's it. We can't do anything else. We just leave it like that. At the top here, I had the 2 plus 3x divided by 3, but 2 plus 3x is the same as 2 over 3 plus 3x over 3. So sometimes you'll see people writing x plus 2/3. But at the moment, we're working with fractions. We just leave them as fractions. If you don't have to do this, just...
See for question M there, see if you didn't take away the brackets for your final answer, would that make a difference? No?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
You can just do 7 minus m like that.
Okay.
And that's fine. Yeah, so it doesn't matter whether you put the, as long as, sometimes it's probably safer to put the brackets, as long as that, you see that bar here, is long enough to be across both of them.
Right, okay.
So that's usually the rule to apply it. If you've got that long enough and you know you always put them long enough, fair enough. But if one day you don't, and you don't have those brackets, then the teacher will find it as as a mistake, basically. Okay.
Yep.
So the next one, I've got a 3xy. At the bottom, I've got 9x plus 6x squared. So again, it's the denominator that we're going to factorize. And I'm looking at it. I've got a 6 and a 9. They both goes into the 3 time table. And I've got an x and an x squared. So I can get 3x outside. So 3x times 3 plus 2x, because 3 times 3 is 9x. 3 times 2x, 6x squared. So now I can just simplify 3 and 3, and x and x. And that's us. We've got our final answer. Y divided by 3 plus 2x. Again, you could put the bracket if you want. You don't get penalized for that. The next one, we're going to factorize the numerator, the top of the fraction, by using 4,
4 bracket 2x plus 1.
Plus 1, and now we can just simplify the 4.
4.
And then it becomes 2x plus 1 divided by y. P, we've done it together. Q, this time I've got 12 and 4 and 8. I'm looking at them. If anything, you've got x and you've got 2 or 4. Yeah, 4 would be the best option, because it's 4x times 3 minus y divided by 8x squared, or x times x. So I'm going to
cancel the x.
Cancel the x. And then 4 over 8, again, is a half. Sorry? It's a half, yeah? So you replace that with the 2, and that's you. 3 minus y divided by 2x. That should be your final answer.
Yep.
And the last one, we're going to factorize both top and bottom. So you'll be able to see that at the top, you can get 4 out and a, b plus 2a. And at the bottom, they're both multiples of 5. I get 5 out, and then I've got a and a squared a. And this time,
b plus 2, can you just eliminate that?
Yeah, because they're exactly the same. So like I said, you can only eliminate them if the whole quantity is exactly the same in the
Okay.
brackets.
Same as it.
What about here? I've got A and A. Can they eliminate?
Am
Yeah. I nearly forgot about those two. And you just get your final answer, 4/5.
I was
Yeah.
doubting myself for that. I got 4/5 originally, and then I was like, as we were talking about it, I was like, nah, that can't be right. Can't be that. It can't be that easy.
Yeah.
I? Sometimes that's where I think I'm tripping myself up. And I'm thinking too much about it.
Like, you can't get rid of B plus 2A and B plus 2A. I mean, they're in brackets. I mean, nobody can touch that. Like,
No,
what you do,
and
you can. Yeah.
the same thing. Yeah, it's an entity divided by the same entity. Whatever number divided by the same number is always 1. So it's your one-time table, basically.
Yeah. Can't get that right now. I'm doomed.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna take a wee break, and I'm gonna pause the recording or stop the